Let's keep putting these out while I can, right? Alright, so today we've got a beginner map fight thing as a TVZ. Again, I'm trying to work on my builds. Thermal's advice for these builds is a lot too complex for a baby like me. We'll see that the Zergling started with a wave of lings, and what I didn't expect is for him to just keep trickling them over. It's a shame I didn't get that bunker down in time. Kind of screwed me over. I've been looking at the bunker as secondary to getting the actual build going, which on some hand helps, but on the other, shit like this happens, and then what's a build really if you're just getting choked out by lanes. And I have to fall back with the command center. Overall, not a great early game. I've got my wall up for my main, so I don't think he can really flood in. Speed it up a touch. We're just kind of focusing on my macro here, and then I get 4 Hellions out. Just 3, but that's the end of the early game for me. I'm supposed to attack with like a bunch of Hellions and a medevac, but that's for a normal situation. This is a little bit of an odd early pressure from the Zerg, or just like I failed to get my bunker up in time, and so it kind of put me in a weird spot. I'm not great at fighting on the field with my Hellions. He tried to do a Baneling bust, but it's not too great. I decided to do my move out with what little bit I have, just to try and practice some pressure. And right now I'm focusing on macro in my head. I probably should be microing a bit more if I'm trying to do this harass as my actual harass, but I'm kind of deep down just acknowledging that we're going to be going into mid game and that my harass isn't going to work great. He catches sight of my medevac drop and pulls his lings back, which is kind of the point of this medevac drop, because he would have sent it right back to my base, which is still not populated with many troops. Able to pick off some drones of his, but he's still on more bases than me, and I haven't started my command center yet, so not too great. Thankfully he has a very low-tech army, and I have a battle cruiser coming out, which is so fun to play with early game. And I just let these buddies die. But map control, I mean, it kept him away from my base. And I think that's partially what you want to do with these early game pressures. Of course, now that my attack's dead, he's flooding on over to my base. But I've got a battle cruiser up, so I'm not too concerned because I can just shoot his buddies down. Oh, I'm playing with Widow Mines now. Oh, they're so fun. They're like tanks, but fast. That's always nice. I'm not too great at figuring out where to defensively position them. I think this one gets killed. Yeah. And then I left this hole open in my wall, which was unpleasant. I shouldn't be losing much workers right now because I feel like my whole supply build shit's already delayed, but it doesn't matter too much. If we look at overall workers, he's got a big worker lead on me, but I never know what's big and what's just Zerg being able to pump out more shit. I think that's the benefit of me doing that early game pressure too, is you're forcing the Zerg to commit to more army instead of drones because of that limited larva economy of the Zergs. He starts building a spire. They always start building a spire, which I guess makes sense. He moves in for an attack, and he does delay my third, which again, props to him with his early game flood of lings, as it has been kind of suffocating my economy, because I guess I've started overextending? No. I kind of, again, I think that's the benefit of the battle cruiser. as it keeps him focused on something other than pressuring you. But realistically, I should probably have a decent bio army already up, but I'm not great with my builds. He goes in for an attack. Widow Mines really help with handling those links. I didn't even need tanks there. I dig in 2 more Widow Mines to keep them from flanking north, which I felt like was pretty smart. And because I had the Marauders, Battlecruiser dies, because I had the Marauders I was able to handle his roaches. But he goes back to building up. Thankfully, I've got a good defense set up. I catch wind of him coming over so I get a nice concave going. And then he just walks into it. I don't chase him all the way back to his base because, I don't know, I feel like I didn't kill enough of his army for him not to just replenish and swarm me on creep. But I do clear some creep while I'm out here. I figure it's a proactive thing to do. I get that last cluster. I spread out in case he wants to Bane bust me. And then I fall back to my old position. Well, slowly. I fall back to where my Widow Mines are, drag him into him. He falls for it. I think that was a beautiful Widow Mine hit that killed those Banes. I probably should have kept falling back. I'm noticing that's what the pros like to do in these TVZs is when they get in an engagement to spread it out. You keep falling back deeper into your Widow Mines or just keep kiting the enemy back. I figure I probably cleared up his army now, so I start pushing forward. Probably should have cleared this creep while I came over. There's a lot of clusters there. But hey, economic damage helps too. It's kind of, I think I did pay attention to pumping out Marauders because I knew that he was going to throw out roaches because he was using them early game. The aggressive Widow Mine hopping in there, I accidentally put some troops into a medevac. But overall, those Widow Mines alone have been doing work. And then I get the GG because I was just going to push through. For my second game, we have a Terran versus Terran. You can see I'm Plat 3. This guy's probably like Gold 1. I kill his SCV, and then we have a Reaper battle. I just had this guy A-moved, so he really won it by himself. That's a good little Reaper. He comments, and I go, oh hey, I got map control. Didn't realize that I killed everything. Because again, I'm really trying to tunnel vision my build more than anything, rather than tunnel vision my micro now. But this, I realize is primo, so I start playing with my Reaper a bit. It'll end up being a bit too much. I start falling behind in my macro, but it's just such a primo opportunity, me and his SCVs. A lot of the educational, I accidentally blow myself up. A lot of the educational YouTubers say just to get your scout, don't focus on getting SCV kills with Reaper. But I think that's when you don't have a primo opportunity like this to just kind of chew away the whole entire enemy. And I do get it out. My minerals went up to 400, which isn't great, but I go back and start working on my build order anyways. Now I'm going in for the attack. I'm really late with this, I think, so it probably doesn't do as much as I would have hoped. Thankfully the Hellion does a little reach around. And I wipe his army again, so it did work out. And now I go back to working on his econ. So this early game pressure ain't the worst. But I do make a terrible mistake right here of trying to kill that tank rather than just kiting it all around. I think I was just kind of done with the micro anyways. I would probably would have been better off retreating the Reapers. That way I could still get scouts with them and try and delay expansions. I sent in my Reapers because I'm getting bored. I see him there, I figure he's probably setting up his nat. And then I do just kind of let them do their thing here now. Then again, my mineral count's 1,000, so you can see I got a little too caught up on the Reaper micro. It's just so tempting. But now my build's absolutely fucked. And here comes his double drop. Just in time for me to not be in position. I'm practicing my Raven micro. I used to never use Ravens. Honestly, I run it into everything. I probably select all RB hotkeys, so that wasn't great. But I think delaying that tank did help me save some of my escaping SCV's lives. I'm not entirely sure, but I'm now behind in workers and I have a big old bank of minerals. I moved my dudes to my natural before he even got there because I just kind of expect that when they fly away, just hopping between bases. We Terrans like to do that kind of shit. And so I was able to stop him before he fucked up too much at my natural. And now this is new for me, I try and move out because I'm trying to stay active on the map in my TVT. This isn't that my minerals are still way too high, but I'm trying to do a little bit of micro too. It's the cost that happens. I know it's bad for my overall strats and gameplay, but I'm trying to get some practice in. Unfortunately, he has a pretty good bio army at this point, so I die. I'm trying to work on my battlecruiser Harass. I struggle to get too much damage with it, but it does prompt responses, such as this guy bringing his whole army over here. And I figure I see a whole army over here. Why don't I move out and send some army over here? I kind of run into some tanks, but we're doing alright. I forget about the battlecruiser now. But I bring him over to my hill because I figure he's going to try and push up this hill like last time. Let's try and stay as fortified up this hill as I can with the little troops I have. My tanks start doing a little bit of work, but what happens is he runs out of Marines. He's mainly just Marauders, so this one battlecruiser is actually a very threatening force to him now. That happens to me more with Terran versus Protoss, that I'll have way too many Marauders because, I don't know, I feel like usually in Terran versus Terran you just spam out Marines. And then I warp my other battlecruiser in because I'm too lazy to watch it fly across the map. I figure I can probably get this command center kill. And so just like that, I have like way less shit on the board, but because I tech swapped a bit early, I'm doing alright. Although he is currently trying to base trade of sorts because he figures he can do damage. And you know what? He does initiate a base trade, and I decide to go follow through with it. I've killed his fourth, moving on to his third. He's chewing on my fourth right now. And I'm just queuing all my troops to defend the push. I'm trying to hold the position of where my third will be, but realistically, it'll be tough to hold. But also not because he doesn't have any Marines. I start microing his Marines down because he has such a significant advantage on me right now, troop-wise at my base, that if I lose these battle cruisers, I'm fucked, but if I keep him alive, I'm doing great. And I just pick off all the Marines. He sends in more Vikings. I'm too scatterbrained to know that I have two right here. But now I've technically defeated his army on my side. So I decided to go double down on my attack on his main, land the Vikings, keep the battle cruiser here. I even have some Marines and Marauders. And then back at my base, my battle cruiser is targeting down their tanks before anything, and then finishing everything off. I just want to kill those tanks before he has some Vikings come in, and I get the dub. 2 wins that are pretty clean, not well, you know, sloppy in places. Whatever. Thanks for watching. Check out my journey of Starcraft Terran, bronze, to maybe one day Masters at least. Hopefully one day when I'm old. And subscribe. I'll catch you guys later. Give me a thumbs up. Let me know what I did wrong, because this is a learning experience for everyone here. Have a good day. Bye.